Hello Year 7, welcome to another week of virtual learning. Continuing with the village project, which from the feedback I'm getting from people you all seem to be enjoying, so that's good. I'll do now though is not to do with the village project as ever, is to do with the Wind in the Willows, which your assessment is on at the end of the summer term, not this half term, the end of the summer term. So just want you to think about something really rather than do a quote explosion this time. Why do you think The Wind in the Willows is still read all over the world today? Why would that be? It's a book that was written well over 100 years ago. The ideas, well not the ideas, but the characterizations are quite old-fashioned and so on. So why do you think this book is still loved all over the world in many different languages? Completely up to you what your response is. Write it down, and when you've done that, go on to the next slide. Okay, our learning objective today is to write a newspaper report. When you come to your GCSE, I mean, it's a long way off yet, but when you do, the second half of the first paper in English language is some kind of writing to a form. So it might be a speech, it might be a letter, or it might be a newspaper article. So that's why we start practicing these things now. So write into your books your title, which is writing a newspaper report. So there we are, there's 7 major newspapers. You may or may not read, or your family may or may not read one or the other of those, or maybe you read them online. I know I read all my newspapers online now. But nevertheless, the important thing is that the style of writing is the same. And that's the thing that we need to get to grips with. So whether it's online or in an actual newspaper, we need to get to grips with the style of newspaper writing. Now, what things do you need to include in a newspaper report? It needs a bold headline, obviously, something that attracts attention. Miss out small words such as a and the. You know, from a headline, man eats custard, the man or a man eats the custard would be the grammatically proper way to put it. I mean, that's as far as the tabloid papers are concerned. The Daily Mirror and the Sun and so on. In the Telegraph, the Guardian and the Times and so on, they tend to not go for those shortenings, but we're going to do that today because it's good to play around with puns, and you'll find out what they are in just a minute. Puns. Man in custody after factory theft. Can you see there the puns on the word custody? It's obviously spelt as in custard rather than T-O-D-Y, which would be taken into custody. That's a pun. And papers like the Sun, they're actually very good at it. Some of them are fantastic. So that's the sort of thing we need. You need some facts, you need some quotes from people involved, and you need some opinions. The opinions can come from you, and you're allowed to give your own opinion in a newspaper article as long as you say that's what it is. A writing task today, Year 7, is to, well, imagine or picture that there's been a spate of burglaries in the village. I want you to write a newspaper article about this. Make sure you include interviews, facts, people's opinions, and a comment of your own about how the situation could be dealt with. That last bit of comment of your own is called an editorial, and it's when the paper sort of gives its own opinion. But before that, you need to come up with the name of our newspaper. So I don't know, the Popemere Thunderer, the Popemere Times. I'll leave that up to you. I want you to write 3/4 of a page at least. Use complex sentences and interesting vocabulary. And I look forward to reading those. I could do with some reading material, so send them to me, make them interesting, and I will award achievement points accordingly. There you are. Speak to you tomorrow.